I don't believe in the norm because the norm produces average results, right? The average mindset produces average results, and the average results in real estate are the last thing I want. I need way more than that.
You ain't lying. Look, the average agent only closes one, maybe two deals in a year. So I don't want average mindsets.
Exactly. So I'm not about that. But when I first saw your stuff, man, because there's some influencers out there who make funny real estate videos who don't even sell real estate. So when I saw that you actually sell real estate and you're actually involved in the industry, I was like, okay, that really made me want to talk to you because the mindset behind it is kind of different than an influencer. An influencer, they're not trying to get more eyes on their clients listing. They're not trying to get new clients from that. So what prompted this kind of wild idea of having these musical, comical listing videos? All right, dude. So first of all, thanks for joining me, man. I've been looking forward to connecting with you for a while now. It's like you're like a real estate influencer to me. I've like watched all your videos. It's super
Well,
awesome.
I gotta do what I gotta do, man. And sometimes being entertaining is the way to go.
I mean, as someone who kind of believes in the get it done at all costs kind of mentality, like I don't believe in the norm because the norm produces average results, right? The average mindset produces average results, and the average results in real estate are the last thing I want. I need way more than that.
You ain't lying. You ain't lying. Look, the average agent only closes one, maybe two deals in a year. So I don't want average mindsets.
Exactly. So I'm not about that. But when I first saw your stuff, man, because there's like influencers out there who make funny real estate videos who don't even sell real estate. So when I saw that you actually sell real estate and you're actually involved in the industry, I was like, okay, that really made me want to talk to you because the mindset behind it is kind of different than an influencer. An influencer, they're not trying to get more eyes on their clients listing. They're not trying to get new clients from that. So what prompted this kind of wild idea of having these musical, comical listing videos?
So I have to give credit where credit's due. My mentor and former team lead, Jameson Durham, he kind of started all of that. Um, and really, I just kind of fell in line with it. So when I decided it was time for me to become a solo agent and move on from that, and of course, I have since went on to form my own team.
Yep.
Um, but I kind of took that to heart. Um, that was a key piece, and it became a key piece because of the the benefits of doing so. Not only do we increase eyes on property when we do that,
Mm-hmm.
benefit for the sellers, but it also increases eyes on my business. So, in order for like here's a prime example. Last year I had a couple call me from California. They said, "Hey, we're moving to Tennessee. We need you to give us get us in a house. Our home's already on the market and under contract, so we're ready to go." I was like,
Nice.
okay, so being a business owner, you have to find out where your business comes from. So I said, "Hey, where'd you find me?" I was like, Google. How did you come across me? And they're like, "No, actually, we've been watching your YouTube videos for the last like year and a half." So I'm like, perfect. Hey, it works.
So, okay. So you said it was your mentor and former team leader that kind of started this. What does that mean? Like, did he just come to you one day and was like, JD, you got to do this? Or was it like you were asking him, hey, I need more eyes? Like, how did that conversation originally start?
So the way this began was I was fairly fresh in the real estate industry, going on 4 years um, now. And so when I
Hey, we're about the
started,
same, by the way.
um, yeah. So when I started, they had a orientation essentially for my brokerage. He was leading it. Not really knowing much. I show up, and he's kind of wrote me off because I showed up in like khaki shorts and a t-shirt and a ball cap on backwards. There was nothing professional about it,
Yep.
and I didn't know, but when I bought my house, my real estate agent was showing me houses in jeans and a t-shirt, so I just thought that was that's
Makes
normal.
sense.
So
Yeah.
boy, did I learn a lot. So anyway, fast forward, he was at that time. He said, he's pretty much wrote me off. He's like, this guy's just gonna come in here and hold a license for 2 years and then probably be done. Whatever.
Yep. Like most agents.
Fast forward a couple months. And I am now, you fast forward a couple months, and I'm getting active and really trying to figure out what's going to be working for me, what's going to be, how do I do this and how do I do it at a high level? Right. So to get there, I need to ask questions. I need some better information, and this is the start of doing so. Just ask questions. Yeah. So I reach out to him, said, hey, I remember talking to you very briefly in the orientation a couple months ago. I still work a full-time job because I've got 3 kids at the house, so I needed a steady weekly paycheck for a while. But I've got plenty of PTO built up. I'm going to take 2 days off next week. Can I just shadow you? Like, what do you have going on next week that I could just shadow you? I could just, I'll meet you at 8:00 and we'll finish at 5, 6, whenever your day's done, we're done. Like, I just want to ride along, ask questions, and take it all in.
Yeah.
And so he agreed. And so, I don't know how familiar you are with our area. I know you're in Rutherford County, I think.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I live in Wilson. I live in Lebanon personally. He also lives in Lebanon, but he was like, he said, I gotta be in Smith County. I gotta be in Carthage or Pleasant Shade at like 8:00 that morning. He's like, if you can meet me at the office at 7, we'll hop in the car and roll out. And I'm texting him at like 6:45, like, hey, I'm here whenever you're ready. And he's like, all right. He's like, all right, let's go. So spend the whole day with him. We talk through, I ask all kinds of questions. We go through a lot. And that really kicked off like a good relationship between the two of us. And so then you fast forward while I still have a full-time job, and he goes and begins his own team. And he calls me and says, look, I know we've gotten close. You're an absolute go-getter, and you're the number one person that I want on my team. But here's the kicker, and I don't want you to think this is anything personal. You still have a full-time job, and I'm not taking part-time agents. So when you get ready to go full-time, you let me know.
Dang.
And that hurt, but on the same token, as a new team owner, I get it.
Well, in a way, it almost was a compliment, though. He was saying, like, you have all the potential.
Yes.
And when you're ready to fully use that potential in one place and one focus, you're the number one draft pick.
Yes. So you take that for what it is, right? And I'm hurt, while at the same time, like, this is also awesome on the same note because, hey, I'm wanted. You know what I mean? Right, obviously, yeah, I've got value of some sort. So, fast forward maybe a month and a half, and I've lined up two deals to close at the end of May of 2022. I texted him. I said, hey, I quit my job. I'm quitting my job in 2 weeks. I've already turned in my 2-week notice. He's like, whoa. Hold on. Are you sure? Are you ready? Do you have everything lined up? Is everything in order? Are you sure about this?
Yeah.
I was like, 100%. That's all there is to it. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to be done. I'm work for myself. That's what I want. And he's like, okay, well, if you've got it figured out, I'm ready. If you have any doubts, hold off. I was like, no, this is it. I'm doing it. So dang. Fast forward into the next week, and one of my deals falls apart. And
A
this would
little
have been
stress,
my
a little
like
stress.
this would have been like my third or fourth deal I've done since getting in the business in 21. So my deal falls apart. One of my two, and the other one's still there. I'm like, nope. I said I was going to do it. I'm going to do it. Period. I know we just cut the amount, the income amount in half for what I was planning on to make the jump, but we're sticking to our guns. We're doing it.
Yeah.
And so when I told when I told him that one of my deals fell apart, he's like, "All right, you need to take a step back. Don't do this yet." And I'm like, "No, I've already committed. Yeah, I have already committed. My current employer knows that it's happening, and it is what it is. I'll figure it out." So close the one, hop into it. I go on to do 12 more transactions from May to December under the team, and out of those 12, 5 of those ended up being listings. And he was already kind of doing this gimmicky listing walkthrough type of video, because if you just get in front of a camera and act stupid, people love to watch that.
Yeah.
For whatever reason, like that is the basis for entertainment nowadays, especially in short form video. If you get in front of a camera and you just do something outrageously dumb, it's going to garner a lot of views.
Yeah.
So we got to the point where listings were our favorite thing, because not only were we working them together, spending time together, as great friends and a apprentice and a mentor situation, it was also the fun aspect of real estate. We got to go for one, list the house, then we got to go back to the house, record the walkthrough videos that are all absolutely dumb, just stupid. I mean, we're dogging on each other. We're making jokes. We're having a fun time. Like it's the fun aspect to the business.
Yeah.
So, and people are loving it, dude. Like I'm getting text messages from agents of other brokerages. They're like, "Hey, I've seen your video. I've seen your latest video. Like that was hilarious." Blah blah blah. He's getting the same thing, and then coming back to me and be like, "Hey, people are watching. They're seeing what's happening." And that right there, like it's not like I don't want to say it's like a celebrity feeling, but it's that feeling of like just reassurance that like, hey, what you're doing is working.
Absolutely.
Don't stop. You know what I mean?
And it is so specific to the creator, because it's like if you compare yourself to Mr. Beast, you might as well quit. But if you compare yourself to your fellow agents who don't even do videos, and you're positively, consistently putting out videos, you're gaining a certain amount of views, you have some of metrics that equate to your success, it's like, okay, I'm doing this, right? Like a YouTube channel for a real estate agent that has 5,000 subscribers is actually incredible. Versus
that's huge,
right? Like shout out to Mike Sherrard out there who does a ton of real estate, and he just hit 100,000 subscribers, and he's a real estate marketer. You might look at that and go, "Oh, well, but Mr. Beast is 300 million," or even just some small other celebrities, or even the gurus like.
But here's where that translates. Well, yes, Mr. Beast is making money from YouTube because he's got 300 million subscribers and so on and so forth. The 500,000 subscriber over here, oh, that was kind of cool.
It happens every now and then, and I can't ever like. I think
that was kind of cool.
An iPhone?
Yeah, I'm on a Mac actually.
Or I think it's an Apple thing.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, that was cool, but it threw me off for a second.
I know. It happens every now and then. It's pretty funny.
So, but you take that and you look at the 500,000 subscriber real estate marketer who, this is what he does day in and day out. Guess what? In those 500K subscribers, 40% of them are either buying or selling a house in the coming year, and that's just the average number, or 20%. Sorry. 20% of those are gonna buy or sell a house in the next year, and that's just an average number. So you take that and you goal, now right? Are they all from Are they all from his local market? Of course not. No, they're subscribing for entertainment. But when they get ready to move, if they have questions, who are they going to direct message? Who are they going to reach out to? Because the more content you create, now people feel like they're building a relationship
Yeah,
with you.
power of
They
owning
know
an
you're
audience
funny.
is so important because, for people who build it beyond views, meaning Mr. Beast needs views. That's his main business model. Versus a real estate agent who gets on YouTube, their goal is to sell homes, right? Buy and
Mm-hmm.
sell homes. And so it's like if they get 5,000 people to over 30 videos to watch, what matters is how does that translate to what they need? Because if they get 100 million views, but none of them buy a home, they have absolutely failed at their mission. It means nothing. It
100%.
doesn't help them. Now, great, they became a content and they're probably going to quit real estate and become a YouTube producer. But if your goal
Yes.
is to get real estate
Yes.
sales, then at the end of the day, that's part of your metric. Is this helping me?
Yes. And you failed at that aspect at that point.
Exactly.
Now, that doesn't mean that you can't shift and make that your new
Yep.
goal.
Listen,
And
you got
I
100
think in
million
most
views as a
cases,
real estate
somebody
agent.
would recognize that. Right? Somebody would recognize that and be like, "All right, let's shift gears here." But no, that's where for me, like, I don't get caught up in the number of views. I don't get caught up in the engagements and the reactions. I just put it out there because I know people are going to see it anyway.
And even just putting it out there puts you above the average agent. I mean,
Yes.
even the average business owner, people just don't market. They just don't do the basics. So I'm curious, how
No,
many?
and there's a lot of stuff that you can do that it's free. It's right at the end of your fingertips. You
Oh,
don't have
so
to
much.
pay nobody nothing. You don't have to do. It's not hard work. Like
Especially from the real estate.
creating content is not creating content is not the hard part either. There's plenty of content out there to be made, and even if you're struggling with something, just get on the camera and talk.
Yes. Yeah. What it makes me think of is Alex Hormozy recently said, everybody's always focused and they tell you about short attention spans and, well, you've got to make a video and it's got to be 7 seconds. And he's like, and for those who don't know, Alex Hormozy is worth well over $100 million. But the important part is that, like, he shares his process. Like, if you ask me, how did Tony Robbins get the audience he did? I don't know. I don't know how he builds it. I don't know what he does. He has it, and I do think he's earned it, but I can't tell you. Alex Hormozy, you can just look at him, and he shows you the blueprint for free. And he was saying that, like, it's value per second, not seconds of value. Because he's like, people will binge watch an entire show if they think it's worth watching. So you can't tell me they have a short attention span when they just watch 10 hours of Netflix. They don't have a short attention span. They have a short attention span for irrelevant things.
Yes. So, like, if you catch, and that's the other piece too, especially if you're putting your content on, like, TikTok Reels or YouTube Shorts, you've got to, in that first 2 seconds, you have to do something that grabs their attention.
Right.
If you don't, it's over. It doesn't matter.
Fulfills the promise,
they're swiping away.
Like, your title and thumbnail are making people a promise. This is what I'm going to give you if you click on this. And then in the first 2 seconds, you essentially have to deliver on that promise. You essentially have to say, I'm going to give you exactly. I'm not going to betray your trust. Yeah, Mr. Beast talks about it. He says, like, if he just does well for the first 5 minutes of a 40-minute video, he can do mediocre for the next 30 minutes and then have 5 minutes of a strong ending. And he's like, and then I'll have a good 40-minute video. But I have to have an amazing title and thumbnail that makes them say, this is worth clicking on. And then when they click on it, I have to reaffirm that they made a good decision. They made a good decision. They're going to get the value they look for. And then once you do that, they will watch longer. Most of the time when someone clicks off in 10 seconds, it's not an attention span thing. It's a value thing. They're basically saying, sorry, but you're not giving me what I thought I was going to get.
Yeah. Hey, that's not for me, you know?
Right. Yeah. So how much planning do you put into your videos? I'm curious.
Honestly, the one you reached out to me about, the rapping one, um, I thought of that in the car on the way there. Like I knew I had to come up with some sort of content for the day. And I
So you
just so
harken
happened to
back to
like
your
two
old
days prior to
freestyling
that.
years, your underground freestyling.
So here's the crazy part. Like 2 days before that, I happened to cross my old SoundCloud account the way I was making where I was making like instrumentals and stuff.
Yeah.
And so I was listening to my old instrumentals like 2 days prior. So I was like, you know what? Let me pull up one of my instrumentals. And then I just started thinking about the house and then put together the lyrics. And so when I got there, I looked at my videographer and I was like, can you make this happen? Will this work? He's like, yeah, we can do it. I'm like, all right, here we go. So that instrumental in the video is actually my music.
Dang, that's even cooler. Oh my gosh. Dude, now I'm
Yeah.
just like picturing you like becoming this literal real estate like music beat producer. And like that would be so awesome, dude. That would be so much fun. Even if it was just satire, it'd be so much fun to see you with like a giant gold chain sitting in the studio being like, oh, 3-bed, 2-bath. Nah. 3-bed, 2-bath. And like like messing around with it, like in the studio, like, oh yeah, that's gonna get an appraisal waiver.
Right.
I'm in with you, bro. I'm
Oh
driving to
man.
Lebanon. We're doing it together. I would do that content
There we
all day
go.
long.
There we go.
That'd be so funny. So what are some of the benefits that you've seen since you started doing these videos? So like views, exposure, like what are some of the positives that you started to really see now that you've been doing it for how long? How many?
I've been doing these types of videos for I think 2.5 years now.
Yeah. So what are some of the
So
positives that you've been seeing?
um well like I said, that one couple from California that reached out that was like, we've been watching your YouTube videos for a while now. So um obviously potential lead generation there. Now there's only been one to come out of it so far, but one's better than none.
Yeah.
So potential lead generation, just overall exposure in general. There's a guy in my office who his social media his social media presence is more based off of like local happenings. So he
Okay.
does
Yep. Yeah. That's
he does insight on new projects. So like if you see a bulldozer or a backhoe dropped somewhere that it wasn't there like 2 days ago, call next thing you know, this guy's out there doing a video being like, hey, this is what's coming to 123 West Main. It's
that
gonna
sounds
be
like Mr.
blah blah
Murfreesboro
blah.
here.
Yeah, so it's very similar.
Yeah.
um um he basically does that for Lebanon and sometimes Mount Juliet if he has to. um but that's his niche, and it works for him because now he goes out to Kroger or Publix or something, and people see him and like, you're the guy that does the
Yeah,
videos.
there's that trust and
And
familiarity factor because it's like what people don't understand is and especially agents, they don't get this. It's the same as like the reason why they don't do follow up. They go, "Well, I followed up 4 times and they never responded." First of all, you didn't follow up 4 times. I bet you didn't even follow up 2 times. But
and if you did follow up 4 times, guess what? They were going to respond to that fifth one.
exactly. And part of it too is that every time that you're doing a video, so an agent's following up, what we're doing is we're making these deposits of trust that we are consistent, that we are an expert in real estate, that we are relevant to certain needs, so that when it comes time to make a decision, they may not have been like, oh, JD, it was that video from a year ago that I watched that made me choose you. They don't even remember the first time they watched your video. What they do remember is that you're familiar, that for some reason they trust you more than the other agent. And that's because you have been building that relationship for so long to where whether they can recall or not, that's not the point. The point is that they feel that trust with you and they will choose you. I mean, I've had people choose me who I've never even met. And they're like, but I've watched 6 hours of your content. And I'm like, oh, you didn't comment at all? You didn't like it all? You didn't even tell me that?
And that's why I say, like, I don't get caught up on engagement and things of that nature. Like, I'm not worried about, reactions to a video or comments under it. As long as the views go up, that's all that really matters to me.
Right.
Because you're still taking in the content one way or another.
I use my content for
even if you don't engage.
Like.
Well, see, that's what I was going to say. Like, the power of video goes so much deeper than just posting it on social media or YouTube.
Yeah.
Take a video, send it via text to a client in response to a question that they asked you, or take a video and wish your sphere a happy birthday with a video and text it to them.
I send about 20 to
seeing those videos. It's as if you're face to face without physically being face to face, and it continues to build trust.
I kid you not, man. I send about 20 to 30 videos a day, just personal ones, and like that's a big part of just what I do. Is I wake up, I have a VA who helps me and like goes through my CRM.
Like, that's how you invited me here.
That's right. Yeah.
It's the same premise.
That's my point, right? Like, the process works. You know this, right? Because like we all, you have lived your own process, like, and I just tell agents, like, I get it. You want to send a quick text message, but I'm like, you'll articulate better, probably on video. Your tone will be, but also they will see you and hear you and they will feel closer to you.
So here's what you miss out when it comes to a phone call is you don't get the face-to-face feel. They can't look you in the eye. Here's what you miss out via text message is they can't hear you. They can't hear your voice distinction. They can't hear your tone. They can't hear your tone on how serious or not serious it is. And if you put one too many periods in there and you punctuate wrongs, they're going to think that you're pissed off.
It's weird. It's so
you can't articulate emotion via text.
Yeah.
So text should not be your main form of follow-up.
And then the other thing too is that there's like 1.2 million real estate agents in the US alone. And I'm like, okay, listen, if your first inclination to send a text is to send us a text, what do you think the first inclination of every other real estate who wants their business is as well? It's going to be to send a text. You need to do,
and the consumer wants connection. And the consumer wants connection, not automation. They want connection.
Right. And so if you're like, oh, I'm just going to send a text, and 100 other agents are also going to send them a text, what you're just doing is you're showing that you're just as average as everybody else.
Yes.
Like, that's just
you're doing nothing to stand out. You're doing nothing to stand out.
So even if you're an extraordinary agent, maybe you are better than the rest, you're smarter than the rest, who cares? Because you haven't conveyed that in any way, because everything that you do is average. It's basic. Stop doing that. Like, that's why I do all of the things that I do, is because literally I'm like, if my first inclination is to send a text, like my selfish human nature, or I'm too busy, or life's crazy, or I don't want to do it, that's probably exactly what everybody else is thinking too. So then I know I have to do more. I have to do more.
Your initial thought is always going to be the wrong thought. And then you take back and you got to second guess yourself.
Right. And like, I mean, it's pretty wild when I'm teaching them, and then I'm like, okay, so you did that. Okay. What do all the other agents do? That. Okay. And then you're wondering why they didn't respond to you. Like, even when I'm telling agents about following up with leads, well, I mean, I sent them a message on Messenger and they never responded. I'm like, because everybody sends them a message on Messenger. It's just a text. And so what you're saying is that you're just as unworthy of a response as everybody else. You're low priority, you're uninteresting, and you're not relevant. They will get to you if they feel like it. And when they don't, they're telling you. They're communicating with you even though you think they're not. What they're saying is, you have not given me a compelling reason to talk to you, so I won't.
You have not added enough value to garner me engaging in conversation.
Yeah, and I'm like, I tell people, like, when you're doing your follow-up, man, you got to be borderline crazy. In other words, you should be having a list of every possible way you could possibly convince them to talk to you. Like, essentially, like, send a video. Okay, like, that's how I learned, right away. Like, nobody was teaching this stuff where I was at. Like, they weren't like, let me sit down and teach you how to get cold people to respond to you. I knew I needed responses to make money. I was $20,000 in debt. My wife's pregnant. I'm supposed to be the breadwinner. I have no day job. This has to work. I had no other option. And I knew conversations, actual conversations, what was going to lead to appointments, and appointments would lead to sales. And so I was like, I have to get to the response. So I would try everything. If it was Christmas, I'd have a Santa hat on and ask like a random question, like, what are you hoping to get for Christmas? I would try the salesy pitch. Here's a great down payment program. I didn't care. I just had to find. And then I started documenting. Oh, they liked that. Oh, they responded to that. And then I'm like, I'm going to do more of that.
Yes. Yes. You find what's working and then do more of it. It is the easiest and most simple game plan out there, but so many times everybody just wants to reinvent something that doesn't need reinventing.
Yeah. Yeah. So what do your clients think of these videos, right? Like, I mean,
so they absolutely love it. The rapping video actually came from somebody who found me on Google. They had already moved out of state, and they were utilizing or they were tired of paying rent payment over there and mortgage payment here. They're like, this thing needs to go. I was like, all right, well, I'm gonna do the best I can. And by the way, the way I do the best I can is that I'm gonna do a video.
exposure.
And they're like, cool. I said, here's kind of what you can expect. And the videographer, of course, looked at me afterwards after that video was shot and was like, this is the best one you've ever done. I'm like, okay, well, good to know.
So your clients are generally very receptive. They're like,
oh, dude, they love it. They love it. I mean, who wouldn't want their house, even if they are selling it, who wouldn't want their house featured in some, a video that's going to get, thousands of views across all the platforms? Like, who wouldn't want something like that?
So are there a lot of extra expenses that go into these videos, or is it still pretty, like, I would imagine at the very least the editing side has got to be.
So I'll be honest with you. I don't spend any more or any less than I really need to. So if photos cost you $150, I get photos and videos from the same guy who he records the video, he edits the video, it's all in-house, and he takes my photos. So I get photos and video for $500.
That seems pretty good to me.
That quality of a video for $500.
I mean, I know photographers who are by themselves just $400.
Mm-hmm.
Not walkthroughs, not Matterports, not video. That's whole separate thing. So that, I mean, and then again, your videos absolutely take more work. No doubt about it.
100%.
There's no simple template.
If there was the average agent who's just simply doing a walkthrough video going, this is the bedroom, this is the bathroom, this is the kitchen. No, there's no skill needed to edit something like that. You know what I mean? So of course that's going to be, that has the ability to be cheaper. But when I'm going crazy and we have to shoot the exact same room 7 different times because he wants, and we get creative and start feeding ideas off of each other in the middle of it. And, he wants a different angle of the way I said this, or I need to say this a different way, or, just whatever it is. So each room essentially is a scene, and you get like 8 recordings of each scene, and it just continues on from there. So he has a lot of editing on the back end. Like that video, that rapping video
Damn.
he did took him, I think it took him like 3 days to finish it, 4 days to finish it, which even still is a pretty quick turnaround.
That is a quick turnaround. I was expecting a week.
So
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I think he had it. I
You
think
got
I
a
did
keeper
the
right there,
video
man, for
on.
sure.
I think I did the video on Wednesday or Thursday. He had it to me by Sunday night,
Whew. Respect, man. I love
and
that.
I got photos. I got photos back Thursday night, ready to go active on Friday. So
So, first of all, again,
oh, real
yeah.
quick, I will do that, and I'll do him a favor. Shout out Thomas Scott, Tennessee Real Estate Photography. That's the guy.
Thomas Scott, Tennessee Real Estate Photography. Reach out to him. Do you know what areas he kind of serves?
So I know he's in the Columbia area, but he has done videos for me as far as we went up to Red Bull and Springs. He's done a video in Clarksville. That last one was in Carthage.
Okay, so pretty much all Middle Tennessee is what I'm hearing.
Dude, he's all over.
That's awesome. That is
He
awesome.
will travel.
Dang. I'm tempted myself. You might have just sold me because I'm pretty wild as
I'll
well. Like
when we get off of here, I'll send you his contact.
awesome, dude. That's awesome. So have you, because I'm curious, right? Have you discovered any negative drawbacks since you started doing, this more polarizing kind of wild, very unconventional marketing? Like, have you seen any negative drawbacks?
Mentally exhausting.
Oh, yeah.
Like once I have thought it through and actually done it as well, that's it, dude. I can't go shoot a listing video first thing in the morning on like a Wednesday and then get back in the office and make phone calls. I'm done. Like that is my whole day.
It's wild how talking on camera. I haven't spent much time looking into why, but I mean, I think part of it is just that we exude so much energy. Because like I do so much content all the time, and it is just so exhausting. And I sometimes feel embarrassed because it's like I used to be an athlete. I'm not like freaking
Right. You don't feel like you're like
right. I'm not like
I'm not in a warehouse like slinging 50-pound boxes or bags or
yeah,
I'm not physically exerting myself.
yeah. But
But it's
I'm
that
with
mental
you, man.
it's that mental piece, dude. It's that mental piece.
I still have 2 more videos to do today, and I'm like, this is going to be a long day for me, because it's just like it's just so exhausting. Even when I shoot short form content, right, where I'm doing like a minute and a half at most, right, 90 seconds, no more, because of algorithm stuff. Even when I'm doing short,
How many times do you usually shoot your short form video before you find one acceptable?
oh man. Depends. Probably at least 10 times each. That's like a minimum.
Because I was gonna say it probably takes me start to finish, recording, editing, and posting. Probably takes me hour and a half, roughly. Like if I've already got the idea and know exactly what I'm gonna say.
Yeah, if I'm
From the time I hit the
filming
record
a
button the
1
first
minute
time.
video, I'm spending at least 30 minutes to an hour, probably start to finish.
From the minute I hit record the first time to the minute I hit post the last time, it's probably an hour and a half.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. So, yeah, I would agree with you. I think it's like for anyone listening who's wanting to get in these videos, right, is don't underestimate the energy it takes, meaning plan your day accordingly. Understand that like if it's a recording day, then your schedule has to revolve around the fact that you're going to record today and you are going to be on camera and you're going to have to deliver a certain amount of energy and effort, and it's going to take time because you don't want to spend the time and the money and deliver a subpar performance.
Well, here's the other thing to consider too. Don't just utilize um, the listing video. Like if you like, for example, Thomas, if you call Thomas and you say, hey, I don't have a listing, but if you would come and shoot video with me for an hour or 2 hours, whatever, and then you can take it and edit it, maybe cut it up into a little short form content for me and send me a file of that, he may be willing to do that. I haven't asked him, but it's a great idea. I think I'm gonna. But
Yeah.
then just take like two or three changes of clothes. So then you spend one day
Yeah, really
doing all your recording,
maximizing.
and then now you've got a month's worth of content ready to rock and roll, and then just do it again next month. That way you're only losing one day.
Yeah. Yeah. So if anybody was like, all right, so agents listening right now, right? They're sitting here and they're thinking to themselves, yeah, but I'm not JD. I'm not outgoing. I'm not wild and crazy. I'm not, you. What kind of advice would you give them about just going and doing something that's not average, right? Breaking out of that stereotypical norm and doing something different. Like, what's some of the advice that you'll give them?
You ask anybody that knows me, and they're going to tell you that that's not me. Like that's just
Who's that guy?
like me on a daily basis. Can I talk to just about anybody? Yeah, I can carry a conversation. Is it my first? Is it the first thing I want to do every day? Absolutely not. I'm not the most social person. Like if I could lock myself in my house, I probably would. But
Are we brothers?
you
Are
know,
we brothers?
we gotta eat, right? So here I am out here making phone calls and slinging real estate. So um, that's really the gist of it. I mean, that's not the person I am, but you can see how that would get misconstrued based off of what I've done previously. And it's literally just a matter of doing it. And I found joy in the doing it part. Like
Mm.
it's fun to just cut loose and be yourself. And I know, there's a different person on camera, off camera, on
Oh
mic,
yeah,
off mic. So when I
absolutely.
have the ability, to be myself on camera, on a microphone, now I'm enjoying whatever it is I'm doing.
Yeah,
And not everybody's funny. Not everybody's not everybody's got the jokes. Not everybody's got the crazy ideas. But if you surround yourself with other people who do, and then can kind of feed that into you, now
mm.
even you're able to get on camera and do the same thing.
Yeah. I think that's a good point too. It's like kind of a little bit of like self-awareness. Is like if you go and watch some of the big content creators who are very consistent and very successful, there is such a wide range of personality. There's going to be someone who's totally satire and sarcastic. There's someone who's vulgar. There's someone who's all
And if you,
informational.
yes, so if you look at, and here's the other piece to it as well. If you look at most of your top YouTube stars, they all have a posse around them. They all have the
Absolutely.
same
Yeah,
group
yeah.
of
People
people
who
in
build off
every
of them.
single video
Even the Mr.
that,
Beast, the legend, he's got four other
because
people in the
when,
video with him.
yes, because when they run out of ideas, they need somebody else to be able to step up and say, just keep the energy up and going. It
Yeah.
gives him a break for a second and he can jump right back in.
Yeah. That's a good point too. It's like if your goal is to make really great content, right? You need to surround yourselves. And remember, great is relevant to your mission, relevant to your goal. Great content doesn't mean that you reach Mr. B status. Great content means you resonate with the audience. You're able to encourage the audience to do or feel a certain way. Surround yourself with people who have those similar goals and support one another. Like I've got great partners in what I do, and basically I'm kind of like the mastermind of it all, but I'll bring them in and I'll be like, Chris, all right, here's what I need you to come in and do. And it helps me. It helps me to produce content that benefits all of us, but I need you to bring this type of thing. Right. And if anybody watch them, like people, these creators, like what JD you're saying, like these creators have people around them. And if you notice, those people have a job. They have a mission, right? If you watch Impulsive, which is Logan Paul's podcast, watch what his partner does. He's different. He asks different questions. He has a different energy. He has a different contrast to him. They're not two Logan Pauls. They bring
And
in.
that's because two Logan Pauls gets boring. You know what I mean? If you don't have if you don't have somebody with a little bit of a different view or a different way to spin something,
Mm-hmm.
you're going to lose half of your audience because
Yeah.
not the entire audience doesn't think the same. They don't react the same. They don't work. They don't operate in the same fashion.
Yeah, exactly. So everybody, listen. Um, find those people around you, and just in the great wise word of Mr. Beast, just go make the video, even if nobody watches it. Build the habit. Good habits will produce good results eventually. You just need to build the habit first, and then you'll start to figure out what works and doesn't work. Like, that's so imperative. So JD, last question for you, okay? What's next? Like, what's your vision? Like, you stumbled upon this thing and now it's starting to work. And if you're like me, you kind of become addicted to it. Like, what else can I do? Or how can I make it bigger? Or how can I reach more people? So kind of like, what's next in store for your brand?
Um, so recently did start a real estate team.
Congrats.
Kind of focused on getting that up and off the ground. I guess really for me, the next step's going to be training the agents that are on the team to do the same thing.
Okay. So
If it works, it
people
works. So
that's gonna model. Yeah.
why not? Yeah, why not? If it works, why change it?
Yeah, absolutely. Like, and the assumption would be that they'd be joining your team to learn your process.
Yes, yes. So now let's add it and scale it.
Yeah. That's awesome.
Or sorry. Let's add you
Right.
and scale the idea.
Yeah, that I knew that's what you meant. And it's like, you add people into it, help them to replicate their own version of your process, right? And
Yes.
and kind of scale from there, dude. I want to watch that. If you're not going to do it already, I think it'd be really cool if you did content of teaching people how you're trying, like documenting the journey of, hey, I'm a team leader and this is how I'm trying to help my agents build a brand based off of my process. I think that'd be really cool to see in the real estate world, because team leaders don't do content. They don't. And I don't understand why. Like, the whole point is that they are a leader. They have something above average of value to share with the average agent. I want to see that. And other agents do. Like, they want to see, like, okay, you say you're going to help me. Well, what does that mean? What does that even look like? I'd love to see, like, your process and see you documenting that journey of, like, this is what I do for my team. Here's the good. Here's the bad. Here's what totally blew up in my face. Like, I think that'd be a really cool journey.
All the ins and outs.
Yeah, man. Because I'd love to see it, right? I'm a team leader for, I don't know, 3 years now. I've had a top 10 team in Tennessee. And I'm always trying to learn. But most of what's out there, it's always leading to another course expenditure and it's another sale. And that's not wrong, but it's very typical. I'd love to see some unconventional ways to approach scaling and growing teams.
Well, and that's why like, so I remember, me talking about the mentor and being on a team previously. Well, I take the experience of being on a team, wanting the experience of owning a team, and kind of correlating what my experience was to what I liked, what I didn't like, and what the in-betweens are. And now let's find the happy medium, because now I'm the one in control of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I love that.
So if you take that and Lord help me, I couldn't do it on my own. Shout out to my mother, who's actually my co-owner on the team.
Heck yeah, man.
So we took that and we realized, like, hey, agent focused. Happy agents mean happy clients. Happy clients mean more transactions and referrals and so on and so forth. If the agent is starving to death, they're not going to. They're going to have they're going to have an emotional hole to crawl out of, and their service is going to be slacking for it.
Oh yeah, well said.
So we are super agent focused, from healthy splits to ability to train, hold accountable, all the things that you would really like to have in a team, minus the extra fluff of, hey, we're gonna give you, a crap ton of leads to go work. Well, I'm gonna give you leads when they come in, but I'm not gonna sit here and spend bukus of dollars on them. I'm gonna invest instead of investing money, I'm investing my time to show you how to go get more deals from people that you already
Build a
know.
brand, build a real business. Yeah.
Yes.
I
Yes.
love that.
Funding a business model,
Yes.
if that makes sense.
Yes, absolutely. I think that's awesome, man. I can't thank you enough for making time. Thank you for just making the videos that you did. That you do. I think it's just so awesome. I think it's very inspiring. At least for me, it's inspiring, and I hope it inspires other agents who watch what you do and are listening to this podcast, like to go out there and forget about other agents and think about your client. What do they want? They want eyes on their property. They want more offers. What do you want as an agent? You want to be known. You want to be known. You want people to like you, want people to trust you, or at the very least, you want people to know that you exist in real estate. And so I think it's really awesome to just see how you built something to where you do those things.
People will do business with who they know, like, and trust. And you have to have all three factors before they are willing to do business with you.
Yeah.
Of those three factors, only one of them has like a gauge level, and that would be the trust factor.
Yes.
Because if somebody doesn't like you, they automatically don't trust you.
Yeah.
So the only one that has an actual gauge to it is how much do they trust you.
Yeah.
So the other two factors are simple. You know about me. You've heard my name. You've seen my face on the videos.
Yeah.
Now you like me because you like the content that I put out.
Right.
How much trust have I garnered from that? And if I have an actual conversation with you, how much can I build that?
Yeah. I love it. Well, thank you, man. I really appreciate you making time. It's been a blast.